New South Wales government has had a look at it and said there's too many and it's not efficient enough, and so they've actually had a summary, and I think most of you have a bit of an idea because there's been a lot of media about it. And they've looked at councils and made some determinations on some of them that they believe are potentially fit to stand alone, some that they believe should look at merging together, and in particular I think that will be the case in many of the city councils, so the ones in the City of Sydney particularly, and possibly some in the other bigger regional centres. We were identified as one of the councils that was considered that we should probably be able to stay fit for the future and stand on our own. So our job is to actually prove that we can actually stand on our own 2 feet. A couple of questions have been raised from time to time about whether we should have considered mergers with other councils. Just briefly touching on this, because I'm probably stealing David's thunder. There's 2 councils that actually join us. One is Upper Lachlan, who has a large road network and a reasonable backlog of country and rural roads like we do, which is part of our biggest asset maintenance backlog. And the other council is, Harden-Borough to our south, and Pallarang. Now, Pallarang has, I think our asset backlog is something in the vicinity of 24 asset backlog.
Oh, they've been 82.
Yeah, ours is about 24. Okay, so
ours is 16.
16. Okay, so our asset backlog, which is basically mostly rural roads, maintenance and reshedding of roads, redoing asphalt roads, and that doesn't include any new stuff to be built. Pallarang, just to give you an example of why we've chosen to go the path, and as a community I think we've all agreed that we should try and attempt to stand on. Pallarang has assessed their backlog as 82 million. We have 16. So
I understand what backlog means.
Backlog of works that need doing.
Okay.
In terms of roads that need to be upgraded to a level that they used to be, work that needs to be done, other assets that need replacement like timber bridges and other things.
Yeah.
So essentially, they may not be as high as 82. When I had a conversation with the mayor over there, he said, oh, it's probably not as bad as 82, it's maybe 60 or 70. Obviously, that is no great benefit to us to look at doing a merger with a council that is in worse financial state than us. They also have higher rates than we do as well already. So obviously the combination of that. So that's why initially council chose to look at the process and work with the community to get to a point where we've got hopefully enough of a case built that we can take it to the state government and say we are prepared to stand alone and we can be fit for the future, and there are some things that we're going to have to do to get fit for the future. Some of those ideas have come out of the working group, which is great, and I'm pretty sure that amongst you and even some tonight, there's some more ideas that will come out of this process, and the more people that get involved with good ideas, the better we will be. I've actually talked about the local government and achieving sustainability. Just a quick one on the 40 people who are involved in the community group have been a diverse group of people, young mothers, pensioners, farmers, business people, real estate agents. We've had a really broad cross-section of males, females, age group. So I think as a working group, it's been a really good cross-section of the community. We've had people from Bynalong, Bowning, Wood Jasper, Sutton, Gundaroo, and Wallaroo. So we've had a broad group all across. So I personally think it's been a really great group of people. And there are times that we'll probably have agreed to disagree, because that's pretty normal. We're not going to agree on everything. But I think as a general rule, what I saw that came out of where we've got to now, and we've got a process we still have to go through to get to the 30th of June. And then I think there's a whole lot of work that's been committed to follow on from the 30th of June. And Council in its last meeting actually committed to doing some of those things that are actually, they've been put into the options paper, and then we have yet to do some of the work. So I guess from my perspective and the Council's perspective, I think we've found it a really open, frank conversation. I don't think there's been anything hidden. People have ideas and views, and I think they've all been considered, and whether they've all been taken on board in in the state that the person initially wanted them to be in, or whether it's actually merged into what we've got, I think, is a group of people who've agreed broadly in a direction and how we're going to get there. So personally, I'd say thank you to the actual working group for, I've got to say, an enormous amount of time and effort that they've put in, because it really is. And I know the councillor's done it too, but we got elected, so it's our job. But the community members have done it as volunteers, and as that, I am, on behalf of the councillors and council, thank you very much for your time and effort. And David's just going to run through where we've got